Hey Jexit, thanks for stopping by. My name is Riley, if you're new to the channel, and I'm a former Jehovah's Witness. So today I want to share with you my Jucket list. And my Jucket list is my Jexit bucket list, which is basically a list of things that I want to do now that I'm no longer a Jehovah's Witness, that I wasn't able to do while I was a Jehovah's Witness. It's a very short list at the moment, but as time goes on, no doubt I will be adding more things to it. So, first thing on the list is vote. I am going to vote. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses don't vote. The reason for that is that they believe that God's kingdom is an actual government that's going to rule over the earth and replace all current earthly governments. Any day now, that's going to happen, and it's been any day since for the over 100 years. So that's what they believe. So just like in an election, when you vote for one party or one government, that's automatically a vote against all of the others. So they feel that if they voted for any human government, it would be voting against God's kingdom. So for that reason, they don't vote. Well, actually, they do vote, but they vote for God's kingdom rather than any earthly governments or political parties. Now, I can understand their reasoning, obviously, because I used to believe it myself. But now that I've come to the realization that the Jehovah's Witnesses don't have the one true religion, and Armageddon isn't around the corner, I kind of feel like a huge sense of responsibility, because I can't just look at things going wrong in the world and just put it to the back of my mind and say, oh, any day now God was just going to come and click his fingers and fix all of that. I can't fall back to that anymore. And when I first woke up to the truth about the truth, um, it was a little bit scary, actually. I started to think to myself, well, now I actually have to worry every single time President Trump or some other irresponsible politician says or does something stupid. I actually have to worry now, because it could end up in a catastrophe. I can't just think to myself, well, God isn't going to allow this to happen. God's not going to allow that to happen. And any day now, he's just going to come and sort out all of the world's problems. I can't rely on that line of reason anymore. So it now falls on responsible people who are here now to fix things. And I don't see why I shouldn't be one of those people. If I'm living in this world, then I'm kind of responsible for what it's like, you know. So I'm going to vote. I registered to vote for the very first time in my life last week. So the next time there's an election, whether it's a local election or a national election, I'm going to vote. So that's the first thing. The second thing is celebrating Christmas. I'm going to celebrate Christmas. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate Christmas, as you probably know. That's one of the things that they're most famous for. The reason being is that Christmas has a lot of pagan origins, which is true. It does. But then so do a lot of other things that Jehovah's Witnesses still do and view as being perfectly okay. You know, wedding ceremonies, Western wedding ceremonies are like 90% pagan. Wedding rings are pagan. There are so many things that have pagan origins. Um, but it's the most people still do them, including Jehovah's Witnesses. Um, so yeah, I also, when I first started watching ExJW videos, there was a channel that I watched called ApostateChick, and she done a video that was about Christmas and birthdays, and it was one of the first things that I saw. And she cited a reference from one of Jehovah's Witnesses' own publications where it was talking about piñatas. Like, it's a Spanish custom where they'll have like a donkey, like a paper mache donkey filled with sweets and chocolates and stuff, and it's tied to a tree, and then somebody has to be blindfolded and try and find it with like a bat and whack it until it breaks, and then all the chocolate falls out. Now, this particular article from this Jehovah's Witness publication was saying that true, that custom might have origins in false, well, what Watchtower deems as being false religion. But that's not really that important. What's most important is how people view the custom now. When people see the custom now, do they automatically connect it with a false religious teaching or practice from years and years ago, or do they just see it now as a harmless celebration? So if that line of reasoning can work for piñatas, why can't it work for Christmas? Because most people, when they celebrate Christmas, they're not thinking about the pagan origins of Christmas. Most people who celebrate Christmas aren't even thinking about Jesus. When according to Christian tradition, it's supposed to be the day that Jesus was born, which it wasn't. But most people don't even think about that. Most people see Christmas as an opportunity to express your love for your friends and family through gift giving, right? And just to get together with people you haven't seen in a long time, family, friends, and just have a nice time. You know, that is what Christmas is today. So if piñatas today are a harmless custom, why isn't Christmas today a harmless custom too? The line of reasoning just doesn't work. So I actually did celebrate last Christmas, but I was still mentally in the JW, doctrine when I celebrated Christmas for the first time since I was like 5 or 6. So the next Christmas will be the first time I celebrate Christmas being fully out of the JW organization and all of its doctrines. So for that reason, it's on my list, even though I've technically already done it. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing is birthdays. I'm going to celebrate my birthday. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate birthdays for similar reasons to why they don't celebrate Christmas, because they view it as a pagan custom or a pagan tradition. But also because there's only 2 occasions in the Bible where birthdays are mentioned, and on both occasions somebody was executed unjustly in celebration of the birthday. So for that reason, Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate birthdays. Also in that video by ApostateChick, she raised a really good point. Dogs are mentioned several times in the Bible. Not one of those times are they mentioned in a positive light. Every time a dog is mentioned in the Bible, it's with a negative connotation or in a negative context. Does that mean that it's wrong to own a dog? Is it a sin to own a dog because the Bible only speaks about dogs negatively? That would be ridiculous. So why is it wrong or a sin to celebrate one's birthday? I was watching a video by Jay the comedian, excellent ExJW YouTuber. You should subscribe to him right now. But in his video, that I was watching, he was saying that every prohibition that the JW organization has, there's a public facing reason for it, and then there's a real reason. The public facing reason for not celebrating birthdays is the reasons I just gave you. But the real reason is that they don't want you to celebrate yourself. And the reason why they don't want you to celebrate yourself is because the organization, the way of life, I don't like using the word religion in connection with Jehovah's Witnesses because it's not really a religion. But for want of a better word, it's such a demanding religion. The only way that they can ensure the commitment of its members is by indoctrinating into them that they don't matter. Is to reduce them to being nothing in their own minds. So you can't do that and at the same time allow them to have one day a year what that's all about them. The 2 things would conflict. That's the real reason why Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate birthdays. It's to reinforce the idea that you are nothing. You're nothing but a slave to the organization. Every single thing you do, all of your hopes, dreams, aspiration, praise, confidence, everything should be directed towards the organization, not yourself. Celebrating birthdays would undermine that. So this is another thing that I have actually done. I celebrated my birthday with my partner last year. but again, I was still mentally in the organization. I didn't feel guilty about celebrating it, and to be honest, it was like one of the best days of my life. And all credit to my girlfriend, Marsha. I love you. Thank you for making my birthday, my first birthday, such a special day. It really, really was, and it made me feel so valued and so loved in a way that I've never ever felt before, ever, 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 ever. You know. And I honestly think that if I had ever celebrated my birthday before, it would have hastened my waking up to the falsehoods of the JW doctrine. It probably would have aided in that. But I'm looking forward to celebrating my second birthday next year, which will be the first one that I've had since leaving the organization mentally. So that's number 3. Number 4 is a fun one. I'm going to do a skydive. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses don't practice extreme sports like skydiving, bungee jumping, or anything like that, because they see it as being ungrateful to the gift of life that God has given you, because it's risking your life unnecessarily. That's the way they see it. They see it as God giving you this gift, and if you're going to risk it, potentially put your life in danger for no good reason, then that's showing that you don't really appreciate it. Now, I can understand that line of reasoning. I honestly can. But to me, it's all contingent on Jehovah existing in the first place, because if he doesn't, then who are you being ungrateful to? I still believe that human beings and life on earth were created. I definitely do believe that. But whoever or whatever created us isn't automatically a deity that is entitled to worship for doing that. And until I come to an understanding of who or what that creator is, if I ever do, I'm just going to proceed as if the creator is not a god. That's my own personal opinion. That's the way I see it now. In fact, when I first realized that Jehovah's Witnesses was not the one true religion, and it's nothing more than a business, it's a corporation masquerading as a religion, I said one final prayer. And that last prayer that I said, Jehovah, I don't know who or what you are anymore, and until I do, I can't in good conscience pray to you or worship you. And that was the last prayer. That was the last prayer that I said to him. So that's where I'm at. So I'm, proceeding on the basis that there is no Jehovah, so there's no one to be grateful to for my life. So for that reason, I'm going to do a skydive. And also, the risks of dying doing a skydive. Very, very few people have ever died doing a skydive. A professional skydive. I'm not talking about in wars and stuff like that, because that's different. You have people on the ground shooting up at you. But a sports sky deaths during a sports skydive are very few and far between. Yeah. So it's a controlled, environment, and I don't see it as being that big a risk. So yes, I'm going to do a skydive, and I'm going to enjoy every single minute of it. So those are the 4 things on my Jucket list. As I said, it's a very, very short list, but as time goes on, I will add things to it. If you're in a similar position, if you're an ExJW and you have a list of things that you either have done or want to do, please feel free to share it with me in the comments. I'd love to see it. We can compare notes and chat about it. Okay, so thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.